Now I'm going to show you how to get up and running with a very simple PAPI script using Python in this case. There are many other programming languages that you can use, but we're going to use Python for this example. So there are two things you have to do before you can start writing your PAPI code. So first thing, you have to create what's called an EdgeGrid client or an API client. And that's the way you authenticate your code to the Akamai platform. The second thing you need to do is install what's called the EdgeGrid authentication libraries for your programming language, in our case, Python. So I'm going to go through both of these steps right now. So let's go to once we're logged into the portal, we go to the configure menu, and then you can go to either manage users and groups or manage APIs. Actually takes you to the same place for now. And this particular account has a lot of users, so it takes a minute before it loads this page. And there we are. So there's a button over here called New API Client for me. So click that. And the first thing you're going to do is assign a role to a particular group. And if you see, by default, it'll inherit the group that your user ID is tied to, and what permission you have for that group. So you can see here that I am my user ID is authorized as an admin in the top level group under this account. So I'm gonna just go with that. PAPI only lets you have your credential or your client in one group. So you just have to pick one here, and then just to get initially, it's easier just to use the top level group, and that's also my default. So here we go. Don't have to do anything, just click next. All right, I have to give the client a name, my name, and then I have to select at least one API. In this case, I'm going to select PAPI, and it's actually listed under Property Manager. So then I have to choose an access level. I'm going to go with read and write. Now, I could have also selected other APIs here as well, like purge and many others, if I wanted to use the same credentials for these other API calls. But for now, I'm going to just go with PAPI. All right. Next thing I need to do is create these credentials. So this gives me this list of sort of secrets, and I can copy these to the clipboard and then close this screen. I can't bring them back up again, so if I needed them again, I would have to create a new credential. All right, so now let's go to the command line. Now in my case, I have both Python 2 and Python 3 installed, and you can use either, but I'm gonna just use Python 3 in my case. And there are a couple of modules that you have to install before you can use the Python. Before you can write some PAPI Python code. So first module is the requests module. So I'm going to use pip3 install requests, and it's going to tell me that I've already got it installed, so I don't have to do it again. And then I'm going to install the EdgeGrid client libraries, or the authentication libraries for Python. And these are called EdgeGrid edgrid-python. Obviously, if you're using Java or some other programming language, there'll be different instructions for you. But so edgrid client is already installed here as well, so I didn't really have to do that, but I just want to show you what to do. Lastly, now we need to edit a file, and you can put this file, this is the file that's going to contain your credentials that we just copied to the clipboard. And you can put it in your home directory and then use it across multiple projects, but in this case I'm just going to put the file here in my local sort of project or directory that I have, where my Python code resides. So the file name is called edge.edgerc. So I'm going to edit that file, and this file can contain multiple credentials, and they're separated by what we call sections. I'm going to create the default section here and paste, and then I can just paste in the client credentials from the clipboard. Now I noticed my keyboard seems to have lost the right bracket there. Okay, let me copy that from, I think I have it probably somewhere else. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, and then finally you have to, or it's recommended that you add an additional parameter here called max body. So this will allow you to submit little bigger payloads if you need to, especially for when you're uploading a new version of a config. You might need larger JSON body to upload. Okay, so saving this file, now I have my .edgerc file in the current directory, and I created a default section there, and now I'm gonna look at just a very simple piece of code here. And you can see here it uses the requests module, and then it imports the edgrid client libraries, and then it sets the edgrid or the edgerc file and the default, in this case the default section, which is exactly where I put my credentials. I'm not going to go in exactly what this particular code does. It's very, very simple code that only does a single PAPI call to get a list of all the groups in your account. So let's go and run this and see if we got it right. So I'll just make sure I get it with Python 3 for now. And there you go. And voila, it worked.